So the first table I went to when I walked in, I looked to my left. There was the Silver Sprocket table, and I picked up a copy of the Confessional. I had read this book from the library. I loved it. I talked about it. Uh, I was excited to get my hands on it. I met Paige Hender. Paige Hender was nice enough to do an interview for me, and that'll appear in the next issue of Canon. And just really cool person. So I was able to get a copy of this book and signed it and sketched in it. This is a really cool book. This is a great book. I can't say enough things about it. It's really good. I recommend if you like vampires, you'll definitely dig this book. Next, I went down my list because I had planned and talked about my list, and I actually had a list of things I wanted to do. I went to Jesse Lonergan's table and I brought my copy of Drome. I love this book. Just visually is great, great story. I brought it over to him. He was nice enough to sketch and sign it. It was funny too because somehow he recognized me from Instagram, and I wasn't worried that I said anything bad because I love the book, and being really negative usually isn't really my thing. But it kind of made me realize that I don't think anybody's really watching anything I post. I'm just another of millions of users, but some people do actually like remember. So just remember to think about what you say. I mean, I didn't say anything bad, but like just think about what you say because people do actually remember. I was actually surprised that he and a few other people actually said, "Oh yeah, I know you from Instagram," and I'm like, "Really?" But anyway, very cool guy. And he told me that Hedra was published as a French volume, one of those beautiful French hardcover BDs. I looked it up. It's out of print, so I can find it, but it's going to be a little expensive. But I got to get my hands on that thing. That thing's a classic. But Jesse, very cool guy. I was glad to meet him and get this book signed by him. After that, next on my list, I went to table sitting together were Desmond Reed, JT Yost of MBM, and Jamie Veda. And Desmond is somebody I've been talking to for a few years online. He was nice enough to do an interview on my channel a while back. I think he's a great cartoonist. I love this series of the Color Pop Creamies. Met his lovely fiance, really cool. She was his salesperson, great big personality, just really cool. They make a nice couple. They're engaged, and Desmond was nice enough to sign and personalize the book, which I really liked. He was just a really cool guy to talk to, and I bumped into a couple of other times, and it was just really great. I met JT. Him and I were talking. He has this series. There's 3 issues so far. He plans on a 4th called Losers Weepers, and it's basically he one time found a journal discarded somewhere and just picked up and started reading it. And based on the contents of the journal, he decided to create a possible story. The events that led up to the journal, and maybe the events afterwards, and other journals and scraps of paper and things that people put personal thoughts on that he's found along the way. And I thought it was such an interesting premise. I had to pick this up. I didn't think about getting him to sign it, but he's just a really cool, down-to-earth guy. Just as Desmond in, and also I met Jamie Veda. Jamie Veda is the creator of Sugarman. He's a cartoonist that's out of Hawaii. This is a wild book. He gave me the PDF a few days before SPX. I loved it, so I picked up my own copy. Sugarman is a bit of old school Western, a bit of Django Unchained. Book looks great, but if you ever get to see his art in person, he has his original art's in black and whites on the big 11 by 14 Bristol boards. He brought it. That art blew me away. It's a incredible fusion of Crumb and Spain Rodriguez and Peter Bagg and other people that I don't know who they are, but it was just really beautiful. When I saw that, I was thinking, oh man, it's like I was thinking maybe I should just not buy any comics and just buy a piece of his original art, because his original art is just really breathtaking to behold in person. I hope that, like I said, if you get the chance, and it was nice enough to sign it, but it's J Veda, Vayda, and he just really phenomenal art. If you want to see some really great looking original art, you definitely have to check them out. It was really fun. These guys were all next to each other, and they were just really cool group of guys. I was really glad I came by. And when I was talking to Jamie, Jamie was nice enough. He gifted me this print. I didn't want to take it, but he insisted, and I felt kind of bad. This is just from a Sugarman book. It was Sugarman inspired. It's just really great art. I really love this. I'm going to get this framed and hung up on my wall. Just a really good dude. Originally from Tampa, lives in Hawaii. Just a really great guy and just a phenomenal artist. I just can't say enough things about him. Follow him on Instagram. You will not regret it. Another book I picked up, I went by Peter and Maria Hoey's Table. They published Coin Op, which is like an anthology series, or sometimes just this case, this story is like one entire narrative, 52 pages. I remember seeing this cover, and I think it was a Kickstarter ad, and the cover just really got to me. I mean, I love the little bit of tilt. I love just the bit of leg. This guy just standing here. You don't know what he's about. This an angle, this yellow field with the red lettering, and then this red, which is a different shade than this orangey red with the white lettering. It's just a really effective cover, and I keep always harping on the fact that people sometimes don't realize how important a good cover is, because this thing sticks out, and you need to stick out amongst the sea of comics. So this is published by Peter and Mary Hoey, and I picked it up, looked at it, and I got Chris Ware vibes. I got Seth vibes. Started reading a little bit. Really dug it. Wasn't derivative of either one of them, but you can tell it was definitely inspired. And I picked it up. It's got a, wouldn't say creepy, but I would definitely say unsettling feel, like almost a sense of dread. But I just really liked this book quite a bit. Just the way I looked at it, just the vibe. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. I picked this up. This is Monograph. This is the debut issue. It's dedicated to the craft of the one panel comic. And future issues will be submissions from different cartoonists, but this issue features Hilda Terry. And Hilda Terry was a female cartoonist that was very popular from the late 30s to the early 60s. And she was the one that decided to create a strip focused on teenage girls, and eventually was the creator of a strip that eventually became Tina, T-E-N-A-A. And it was the first one, and there were a lot of imitators that focused on teenage girls in the post-World War II era. There's great raps, great history. Warren Bernard adds a nice short article in here. It includes old, bits of strips. It's really beautiful work and very, very funny stuff, and stuff that is still funny today. Just really great. I spoke to Ibi Chialis. I think I got that right, because I asked her, because I know that I kind of like messed up her last name. So just a really interesting, great book. And on Sunday she was sold out, and she's like, she didn't know how many she was going to sell. And I think if she would have doubled the amount that she brought, she would have sold them all out. I remember seeing this on Instagram. I think this might have been signal boosted by Warren Bernard or the SPX account. Hey, that stuff works, man. So boost this stuff on your social media. People do look, and this cover is just another great cover with the white background and the bright colors and this red banner here. Just something that grabs the eye. And I read this on the plane ride home. This is just really fun. I really enjoy this. If you're into the history of comics, or you're interested in women's contributions to early comics, this is a great read. And really like this a lot. Looking forward to the next issue, when I think it's planned to come out next year. After that, I picked up 3 issues of Sew Buttons. This is issues 13, 14, and 15. 14 was nominated for an Eisner. 15 was It debuted at SPX. This is by Jonathan Bayliss. I've heard about this before. It's an anthology where he writes stories of varying lengths. Some are several pages long, some are one or two. Different artists. It's interesting because I wanted to get a chance and to check this out. And I read issue 13, and he has a story, and he looks really good because I think he's probably only maybe 10 years younger than I am, maybe 10 to 15, based on some of the things that he talks about in his book. But he looks really good, and he does always have this hat on. I remember Sunday morning, I was walking into the venue, and he was in a dining area, and he was eating breakfast. And the reason I recognized him was because of the hat. But the first story that he starts off with is when he's a teenager in summer camp, and his, I think, aunt or grandmother, female relative, sends him comics and sends him a copy of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing during its run. And I remember this run. I still have the original run, and that at the time when you read it, you're like, man, I'm reading something that's not like anything else. He went to film school. He worked at Sundance. He worked at Topps Comics on the trading card division. Just has a very interesting career, and he can draw on so much. And each of these stories is done by different artists. The first story in issue 15 is drawn by Noah Van Sciver. And it's pretty interesting. This one, issue 14, the first story is drawn by Box Brown. And it's funny because he can just draw so much on his life. And it isn't like a famous life, but there's so many interesting things that happen to him that he can write upon it, and none of it is ever derivative or boring. So if you get a chance to check this out, I would. I think this is published like once a year. This is a Machine Man homage. Again, this was like a lot of fun read. And Jonathan Bayliss is a New Yorker. He's got that big personality, cool dude. I was happy to pick these up from him. So I was walking around and I almost bump into Ryan Holmberg. And he looks at me and goes, "You're Ray." And he remembered me from Instagram again. And I'm not saying that as like a humble brag. I still am surprised that people remember, but they do. So I'll just make sure that I keep everything positive. Was at the Strangers table, and I saw this, and I was thinking about it, but I'd seen it before, but I wasn't sure if I was really going to dig it. I thought maybe it was too shonen, but Ryan was telling me that Fukui Eiichi was the first mangaka to really do the cinematic style. It was almost like pre-Gakiga. And apparently he and Tezuka were contemporaries and friends, but then his manga became really popular, and apparently Tezuka didn't like it when somebody else's manga became as popular, more popular than his. So there's a long essay in this book at the end, one of these long Ryan Holmberg essays that I think we're not going to be seeing much of anymore from what he had said. But apparently Tezuka did what is the manga equivalent of diss tracks, where he would take shots at the manga or the character inside of another ongoing manga, because he just didn't like competition. So after he told me all that, I was like, okay, I gotta buy it. And Ryan was nice enough to sign it here. Very cool of him. He's a cool guy. I like him a lot. Later in the day, I went by Fantagraphics and I picked up Keeping Two. I read this in the library a couple of years ago, and this is part of that 2023 class of graphic novels that I think was like the last great year, because you had Keeping Two, Monica, Blood of the Virgin, Time Under Tension, Worm by Adele Rodriguez, and so many other great graphic novels. So I remember reading this in the library, and then when I saw Jordan Crane was there, I decided to get a copy of this for myself. Love this book, and he was nice enough to sign it. When he signs, he does these very deliberate, detailed sketches based on the characters in the book. For It Goes Like This, he drew this character in gold paint. Just very deliberate, painstaking, really cares about getting the image just right. Chatted with him while he was doing it. Really nice man. Very cool dude. It was just a pleasure, and I was really happy to get this. I love this book a lot. Later on, I was at the Tim Lane table, and Tim Lane was next to Mia Wolf, and I was looking at the book, and I was talking to Mia, and she had two books on, and I kept looking at this book, and Tim Lane was talking to Matthew Mackman, and the publisher of 3T, Told to Tell, and I was just looking at this book, and I was talking to her, and I kept looking at this book, and took a picture of the cover, and I kept looking at this book, and then I looked at this book and the other book, and I just like, oh, screw it, I'm gonna buy it. Just some really beautiful art in here. She's a great artist and can draw. You can see in different styles using different media. Her other book was very pen and ink, heavy, beautiful work. Just really dug this. So I was just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna buy it, and I bought it. Very cool person to chat with. Really liked it. Just a really lovely book. I think it came out just this week. It's from Fantagraphics Underground. So I'm looking forward to reading this. This is something that's probably different than what I would normally read, which is good. What else? Oh, early on Saturday, I went by Dummy Zine table, and I picked up Dummy number 2, which is dedicated to the story of the Air Pirates. If you're not familiar with the Air Pirates, in 1971, a group of very talented underground cartoonists decided to do parodies of Mickey Mouse and piss off Disney. And Disney got pissed off and sued the hell out of them. And this tells a story. And John Kelly put this really nice looking book together, just a really solid magazine. And he had Gary Halgren, one of the Air Pirates from that time, there to sign it. John Kelly signed it. And he explained that all the scans were done at the highest possible DPI and the whole process. This is from the original art for the cover. This is the cover, Air Pirates 1. Just I'm gonna flip through this just to kind of show you like the quality of this book. Just some of the cool stuff from the original art, just some of the stuff he's talking about how difficult it was to track all this stuff down. This is a pinup, I think it's circa 1970, that was by Wally Wood of all people. Just really crazy stuff that they did, and they did just to get under Disney's skin, and they definitely did. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. Just really cool. Okay. On Sunday, when I was there, I saw Matthew at a table with Jay Howley. And Matthew has this really keen eye for talent. I'm not sure how he does it. So anyway, he picked up a copy of a book that this guy has self-published. He had other work, fell in love with it, but it was the last issue of that book. So I picked up a sketchbook of his. Really interesting, just as like a sketchbook, but really interesting line work. Really talented guy, young guy, very cool. I'm hoping he stays in comics, makes a go of it. I think that he's got a lot to offer. And his Instagram is, if this will focus, it's the J Howley, maybe not. Lee Howley, excuse me. The Howley, TheHowley. Really interesting young artist, very talented. On Sunday as well, I went by Crucial Comics table and I saw this and I picked this up. I think we can all support causes we believe in ways big and small. So I wanted to do this to support this cause. Think what's going on there, besides being a genocide, is an atrocity. And so I'm really looking forward to this. This is just about 50 cartoonists doing these stories to support. And the money goes to a Palestinian relief fund. So there's many worse things that we could do with our money. I'm really happy to contribute to this. What else? Oh, when I was there, I brought along my copy of Mythologies and Apocrypha by Tim Lane. Tim Lane is an amazing artist. I've only known about him for 2 years, but he's one of my favorite cartoonists. He's just so freaking good. And he's a cartoonist that other cartoonists will tell you, oh, he's so good. So he signed the book, here, but the art here is just phenomenal. I found his graphic novel, The Lonesome Go, really enjoyed that. Uh, just really enjoy the art and his ability to draw different styles. Um, just really amazing. He was really fascinating to talk to. Yeah, he spoke with Matthew and I quite a long time. Really cool guy. Just really interesting to talk and listen to. So if you ever get a chance to see this, see if any of his work, check it out. You will not be disappointed. Okay, when I was there, Jordan Crane had this small self-published zine. It's based on Aldous Huxley's last book, The Island. So it's just something that he created and wrote with some art inside. He was selling this is not published by Fantagraphics, it's just a self-published thing. He did 143 copies, sold some in Los Angeles couple of weeks ago, and then now is was selling them there. I thought it'd be kind of cool to get my hands on this, so I did. Also, while I was there, the morning of SPX Day 1, I met Matthew for breakfast. He was actually nice enough to pick me up from my hotel, which was nearby, but still, we had lunch. I mean, excuse me, we had breakfast together. We chatted about music and comics, and he gave me a he just got copies of Told to Tell #9, so he gave me my copy in person. If you're not familiar with this, this is based on different artists' interpretation of Lone Wolf and Cub using the Simpsons character. This cover is sick. All his anthologies are different. They're all interesting. They all feature great artists. Just really good stuff. I've been supporting his work since his first issue and continue to do so. It's a micro publisher, but he's really good. You can find them as at Told to Tell on Instagram. Just really unique books, and I'm glad that these unique books are being published. Just some really cool stuff. Oh, when I was there, they had a handout, sort of like a smoke signal. This is done by Washington D.C. area cartoonist. It was on the table, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'll pick it up. Maybe there's somebody there that I definitely could, whose art I like, and there's some people here whose art looks interesting. I gotta take some time to really digest this and look up some of these people and see who I can follow on social media. Just really interesting, cool stuff. And it was a freebie. It was just there. But I was happy to get my hands on one. And prior to SPX, I went to a used bookstore called Second Story Books. They have a ton of books. Just really amazing collection. But the graphic novel and manga stuff was very light, and I really didn't see much that spoke to me. But I did find this is a Sailor Story by Sam Glasman. This is a Marvel graphic novel from 1987. This is, if you know Sam Glasman, he will write and draw stories of his own experiences and experiences of other soldiers from World War II. And it's amazing how these Marvel graphic novels, and I own a few, this book is 38 years old and it is such great shape. It looks like it just came out today. It's amazing the quality of some of these books. But Sam Glasman is an American treasure. And I'm glad that I was able to find this. It was $4, so I couldn't say no. It was just really great. And that is it. That is my haul over the SPX weekend. Again, as I said, I bought a lot of stuff that I planned on buying. I bought some stuff that I didn't plan on buying. Met some cool creators I was able to, talk to, and just really had a great experience. It's just a really cool vibe there. And I have no idea when I'm going to have the time to read this stuff. I'm going to make some time. And again, it was good to see some of these books that I've heard about, like Sew Buttons, never got a chance to read. Social Media Works, I picked this up because of that, and I think other people did too. Coin Op looks very cool. This print by Jimmy Veda is awesome, and it was just good to meet people and just kind of be amongst us fellow comics nerds. And that's it. Hopefully, I'll have this read within the next year, but the odds of that aren't that great. Thanks.